Hey everybody, Big Mike on the mic. Oh, Dark 30 TMWC, making my coffee. Had a half a banana too. So yeah, I blend my coffee with some butter and it makes the best cream. If you don't do this, it's called Bulletproof Coffee. Look it up. I'm not a sponsor, but yeah, it's good stuff. So roll out a little earlier this morning. There's my Pink Sock International Superstar. That looked a little dangerous, but it actually wasn't. Let me see if I can do this whole narration in one take. So I meet Jorge, and then we find these two guys in green. I don't know, sure looks like that's a simple green color, huh? Womp, 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 womp. So we get there a bit early before most actually have got to the start, but there are some folks there, and honestly, really well organized. So a dozen or so guys are already there. We're getting our chips. Hey, special thanks to everybody that helped out. I don't know everybody's name, but I sure appreciate everybody that helped out, to the guys and gals and kind of Todd's whole crew. So as the morning drug on, of course, more people show up picking up the timing chips. Say about 60 people got timing chips. Here's Todd giving his morning briefing, and Todd's rules worked out really well. If you don't know what Todd's rules are, ask him sometime on the road. He'll be more than happy to help you out. So here's the rollout, and we got some miles here. This kid has been following this kid for a while. He's progressively gotten better and better. We got Monty always shows up. That guy, he likes to compete, even though he doesn't really ride much, but he's still darn good. So we roll not so. Not so fast at the beginning. I thought, hey, this is not going to be bad. Look at these two guys on the left, Sean and Cheyenne and Kevin. Yeah, those guys featured prominently today, along with along with everybody that came out. Had a prominent time, I suppose. So, things were pretty mellow here on the initial rollout, but it doesn't take long when you put a group of 50 or 60 guys together and a couple gals that are A-type personalities. The gloves only stay on for so long. So here's some of the best calves on the pro peloton, in the local peloton. Right in front of me here, Mr. Pro Eco John, and we've got I don't know who. There was another Pro Eco. I think that was Chris and Peter that went in front of me. So we get that first little kicker there on Antonio. You could see where the watts went up. They didn't actually go up as high as I thought they would. There were a couple, I don't want to call them half-hearted attempts to go off the front. I mean, they looked pretty good, but the guys up on the front were pretty intent on keeping anybody from getting away. So you can see here where there are a couple places where some guys are trying to make an attack up on the front, and the group is just sticking with them. So beautiful morning, beautiful SoCal morning. I got Sasha, the Russian missile in front of me. He features prominent today as well. If you could look at some of his Strava times, but just a pretty picture there with the sun and Santiago Peaks in the background. And you can see when we kind of roll up on some of these lights, a beat down kind of starts where some guys want to go off the front. I believe I want to say Cheyenne went off the front here and was out there by himself for a while until we got to that one main light, which is maybe Banderas. I can't remember all the names of the streets. And we caught him. We got Super Dave here. He's always game for throwing down. No, here's a little spot where, hey, look, I'm bridging a gap. Okay, I know it was only a 10-yard gap, but hey, I actually felt pretty good this morning up until when I didn't feel so good. So, it kind of happens to probably to most of us on this ride. So, I'm actually staying. My thought was to stay towards the front here on Antonio in case a break did go. I have the legs to go on these shallow 1 to 3% kind of false gradients. I have the legs to go with guys. If it gets any steeper than that, these younger, skinnier guys, I'm just not going to be able to hold their wheel on a steeper climb. So Miles here in front of me, again, this kid has been improving tremendously. You can see I think I'm third or fourth wheel here, and this isn't a break, but I just kind of wanted to stay here towards the front in case it was. But when I looked behind me, everybody's just strung out way behind me. So this is one of the few times I did actually get to the front of the group a couple times. And of course, since I'm the guy doing the video, I get to show off that I'm on the front of the group. So here's where things really heat up when we make that turn. And I can never remember the name of the street that parallels the bike trail. I think I just made it up to it. Yeah, there's 1,000 watts. There you go. 1,000 watts of power. So we'll see if I hit it again where I really stomp on it. But here's the actual kick up onto the trail itself. Ooh, I was in the dirt. Yikes. So, hey, that's bike racing. So am I going to make 1,000 watts here? Come on. Ooh, I did. Wow, even more than back there. So there's 2 times 1,000 watts. I rarely hit it. I hit the trifecta here on this turn as we go back onto the main road. I think I got Ed here in front of me. And again, it's funny how you manage to find the same people on the road. You seem to ride in the same grouping of guys a lot of times, which I find very interesting. I like this footage too here. We got the nice little kind of S curvy turns as we turn back onto RSM. And again, things are actually heating up pretty well here. You can see the group is somewhat strung out, single file. We're trying to go careful through the light because that is a red light, and we are going through it. But yeah, so I don't think I hit that. I wasn't looking, but don't think I hit the 1,000 watts 3 times. So I've sped the action up here again, just in the time of interest. I think I got about 20 minutes of video here for this unofficial TMWC race. But yeah, going up the climb up to the turn on Melinda, always pretty heated, but we're bunched up pretty good. Hitting some good watts. You can see I'm in 400, 300, 400, 500 watts. And obviously we're spinning real good here because I got the video again at 2x. But fast paced. I don't believe any KOMs were set going up here. But we weren't far off the KOM time. So this is just a really good, solid effort, and I'm just doing everything I can to suck wheel, even though I feel pretty well. I noticed my heart rate monitor was not working today for some reason, so maybe bad battery or bad connection, but no idea what my heart rate has been. Also, I have no idea what my weight is because my scale broke like a month and a half ago, so I could be getting fat and I don't even know it. So, yeah, so this climb up Melinda, again, I felt really good here. I was spinning good. We got Todd here looking real good. Got Monty in front of me. I think Charlie is up there. I saw the Freak Show Aloha guys. They were out in force. The TBD guys were out in force. Paul had a good ride. So, lots of really talented, good folks out today. Those that ride kind of the SoCal Peloton, a lot of the A-list riders were out here. So this tromp up Melinda is always pretty challenging. We get a little bit of a break on a downhill here. You can see the speed increase, and I'm just surfing wheel. We got Justin getting in the super tuck. That is, yeah, it looks a lot. Well, maybe it actually is that bad. It looks worse at speed, at double the speed, the little weaving back and forth. I think we got Steve Pettit there, who also featured quite prominently. So I was feeling real good here, and a couple of the fast, skinny guys tromped on it here, and I'm keeping an eye on them. They're putting a little bit of a gap in, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a light here. If I can make this light with those guys, if I can get up there, put a little bit of an effort in, get up there to the fast, skinny guys and sneak through that light, just maybe we can get a big gap on the group. So I do that. So I bite the bullet, and you can see a little bit of a chase is on. I'm up there in the 600, 700 watt range. Watch the light turns orange. I think everybody behind me should have stopped at that point. And you know what? Nobody did. Because I looked behind me, and everybody went through a red light, or almost everybody. And I'd say there was strung out at least a good 50 to 75 yards behind me. So I'm in with a really talented group of young, hard-charging guys, as you can see. And they are just drilling it on what used to be the climb, the A-lister climb on TMWC. Now it goes around through the neighborhood. But I thought I had a real shot here by getting on these young fellas. I think these were all the young guys. All the young, skinny guys. Man, I was young one time, but I was never skinny. So, needless to say, like I said, when I turned around, everybody was still back there. So I know a bunch of you guys went through a red light because there ain't just no way that whole group got through on orange. Just no way. All right, so we get to the top here, and then we've got much the usual descent. So not a whole lot of action there. Although on the descent, guess what? I was the leader of the pack again on the descent, at least briefly, until some other big muscly guy in a green suit kind of came by me. And yeah, I'm only going 45. I'm still within the speed limit, Todd. I didn't even pedal. So I'm not trying to create a breakaway. I'm just using my God-given talent as a big guy to go fast downhill. That guy's pedaling, but notice my watts, 0. Oh, I ain't pedaling. All right, so we hit a red light here, and actually it was kind of funny. I should have put it in, but I didn't. Super Dave actually escaped through that light when it turned and put a nice gap on the group. He paid for it, though. We caught him on El Toro, on this El Toro trail. So here's the turn onto the El Toro trail. Always a tricky proposition at best with oncoming traffic and then traffic behind you. We manage with the kind of, probably the biggest group we'll get all year to actually all squeeze in this little spot here except for me, and then I squeeze back in because I don't want to get hit by a car, and I actually move a little bit forward because I don't want 60 guys to get in front of me before we get onto the trail. There's all these things to think about when you're throwing down. So we scoot onto the trail, and I had and there were actually a couple guys that did scoot in front of the traffic, and you know what, to their credit, they actually waited. So, hey, whoever you guys were, I didn't even catch an eye on you, that was actually quite sporting of you, so much, much appreciated. And the winners seemed to be amongst that group, so not that it probably mattered all that much. And as you can see, it's them same young guys throwing down again on the trail. So the watts quickly go up, and I think I've got the rest of the footage here until I actually get dropped, which is right as we turn up onto Live Oak. So lots of throwing down and quite a bit of hard effort as we go up this El Toro trail, as you'll see. So we're really at the start of this trail, and we're going 400 and 500 watts already. So it's and it's not an easy effort. Hey, I got Paul and Peter flanking me, and those guys. Paul did quite well today. Didn't win it, but he was. I believe he won the old man category, of which I was a part of. And I believe Todd got second or third, and I can't remember. I'm missing somebody in there. Emilio. Emilio was up there, so those guys were on good days today, so they killed it. That's just kind of a cool picture. I just did a stop action there at 660 watts before we got under the bridge. So we're carrying on here up through the trail. I think, do I have this at regular speed or double speed? Man, I don't know. I think I've got it at what appears to me to be regular speed. So you can see we're quite strung out on the trail. The faster guys obviously are up there towards the front driving things. But again, I'm still feeling okay here. We've got, again, you can watch the spinning action here. We got Crazy Mikey up here, and we got Justin right there as well. Crazy Mikey started paying for it a bit here, but he's a tough rider. Got Matt, who I have not seen out on the road much, so he was, I think he was just about done there. But Mikey's suffering here. Justin was on a good day. So I believe I go around Crazy Mikey. Yep. But Crazy Mikey catches me at the end and actually beats me by, 30 seconds or something. So, it's all fair. All fair in bicycle racing and war, I suppose. But, yeah, so I'm feeling good up here. We're approaching the kind of what, again, I call they got two little kickers here. This is a shorter one on the El Toro Trail, and you'll see the wattage goes up. Monty is hanging tough, and we're in, it's a pretty select, fairly select group of guys here. You can see that, again, the watts go up. Guys get out of the saddle. They're pushing hard up here on that first little part of the kicker. Good thing it doesn't last very long. that's the good news. The bad news is there's another one that's a little bit steeper and twice as long before we make the turn into the tunnel. So you'll see how that actually pans out. So again, I'm just keeping the action going here as we're going through the trail. Justin's getting a lot of play time here. So Justin and I are basically doing the same thing. We're letting everybody else do the work for us. We're surfing wheels, and then we're throwing it hard, and we're spinning up these little kicker climbs to stay on the group. So things kind of narrow here and get a little bit hairy. We got Todd here hanging tough with the crowd. Again, he was on a good day, and Charlie was on a really good day. Probably the best I've seen him ride. And watch Monty. Monty's a little bit crazy too. He does a ellipse over to the left, which makes Charlie go over to the left, which almost runs me off the road. So Charlie, that wasn't your fault. That was actually Monty's fault. And we have one crazy Mikey in the group. Monty, we could go crazy Monty, but I think we'll just leave Monty the way he is. So wasn't done with any criminal intent, if you will. Just sometimes that's group riding. So I'm hanging on for dear life here. I managed to PR up this stretch of road by a fair amount. So I'm good. I'm pretty happy with my performance right up to Live Oak, and then the wheels kind of came off on Live Oak. I just could not hang with the best of climbers. Even though their climb up Live Oak wasn't, I don't believe it was super, super fast. It was somewhat reasonable. But, when you put in a big effort for, 45 minutes into the ride, when you put in a big effort for that length of time, yeah, your ability to then continue that degree of effort is obviously degrades, as did mine, and plenty of other people too. So these guys here in front of me are the guys that finished in front of me. They pretty much rode away from me here at this point. So I was, up to here I was feeling pretty good, but then, like I said, it just kind of fell apart for me. So you'll see how that works out. And I guess us bigger guys like this guy in front of me, he's no lightweight young climber. He's got to be about as heavy as me, and he's more compact than me. So I was actually able to I forgot about this. I was actually able to kind of make a little of an attempt to bridge up to these guys. Do I actually get on their wheel? When do I actually fall off here? All I did was cut this footage together and really looking at it now for the first time with the wattage and whatnot and the numbers on here. So I get to here. It's a 6%. It's actually fairly steep. I pretty much think I've done my climbing for the day. and the climbing only gets worse as we go up Live Oak. So, yeah. So the wheels are falling off more than just me. So, yep, here. See, I'm done. So I'm done. I think I managed to get, I'll call the group I was in on the descent, and then the finale, the C plus group. I don't know if we were actually the B group. Yeah, so I'll just stick with the C plus group here, not quite the B group. So I'm just speeding the action up here. So we have, like I said, we got Monty in this little group here, Crazy Mikey, I see Jorge. I didn't know the guy here that just went by me. I had a guy in the dreadlocks. The poor guy, I don't know, dreadlock dude. I do, sorry, dreadlock dude. I can't remember your name. You'll see him here in just a second, but there he is. But that guy rode with a broken spoke. I don't know how he went downhill at speed with a broken spoke. That might explain why he's in our group. as he was in front of me, and I've seen him. He's a guy that's easily recognizable on the road. So, and he can ride for sure. So, anyways, we're just coming up here to little Paths of Candy Store, and then up the Corkscrew, and I'm just rolling the footage here. We're up to the Corkscrew itself. Now, most of these guys here, I wasn't too interested in throwing down, being in the C plus group or the B minus group, if you will. But some of them did, and I'd say they put a good 30 seconds to a minute into me at the finish there. I finished in just under an hour, so had I known how close I was to an hour, I might have tromped it a little bit harder, but I did manage to get in under an hour. And again, this poor guy, yeah, he just was riding on a broken spoke. So here's everybody at the finish. Look at all these people that came out on a Tuesday morning at 6:30 a.m. start. I got up at 4:45, so I imagine some of these folks got up even earlier. Just a beautiful SoCal morning on TMWC. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. Here's Todd talking with Chris. Hey, Todd, thanks a lot, man. What a great ride. Really appreciate it, and all the hard work, and all your folks that helped out. So here's an ode to Todd. He's got one of the biggest smiles in the group. So again, thanks, Todd. Thanks to all the volunteers. And hey, everybody, have a great time out there riding. Later.